Hi, welcome to our channel. I'm Usha, and this is,
I'm Jaya Bottaro.
and we talk about education and everything related to educating kids to meet life's challenges. And our topic for today is don't be lopsided. What do we mean by lopsided? Well, in our last video, we talked about the four tools of maturity, and today we're going to continue that. And we have a little quiz, just a 3-question quiz for you to help you determine what might be the tool of maturity you feel most comfortable in. So if you want to get a pen and a scrap of paper, you can do that. And while we're telling you, reviewing what the four tools were for those of you who might not have been here for the last one.
So, one of the tools is the body, and kids that have that tool as their strongest tool are kids that enjoy physical movement, kids that enjoy physical games when they are with other friends, and they play with things in a physical way.
And the next one is feeling. And kids who tend to have the feeling tool predominant, a lot of times they enjoy music, art, pretend play. They like pets, stuffies, and they like spending time with friends.
The next one is the will. Kids that have will as the strongest tool of maturity are kids that are competitive, kids that don't give up easily. If you give an ultimatum, will choose to take the worst consequence rather than to give in. So don't give in, don't give up, and yeah, seeking to win or be the best at each activity or not wishing to pursue it if that isn't possible, that's a detail.
Yeah. And then the intellectual tool, the intellect tool. These are kids who usually ask a lot of questions. They seek to understand things. They might like reading, or they might prefer math more. But they want, and they a lot of times like to discuss things. And they like games that are board games, thinking kinds of things. So hopefully you have your scrap of paper now. And so we'll read you this quiz. And there'll be 4 choices for each question, A, B, C, or D. And you just write down which letter you think applies to you.
Okay, the first question is, which activity would you prefer in your leisure time?
A board game. B, listening to music or watching a musical. C, a sport. D, a board game, a sport, or practicing music would be fine if there's an element of competition and the possibility to win.
Second question, which of the following would you have chosen as a child?
A, either reading or figuring out a new computer program or software. B, playing with someone younger. C, riding a bike. Or D, trying to conquer a challenge such as riding the bike a certain distance without sitting down, or building a Legos tower taller than anyone else can.
Last question. When you were a child, which would you have chosen between the following long-term commitments if peers or parents were not influencing the choice?
Would you prefer to take a class from a very magnetic teacher, maybe in an accelerated learning program? B, would you like to acquire 3 different pets and take care of them? C, would you like to play a sport under a great coach, not torch, coach? And D, any of the above might be a good challenge. So the answers of A are intellect, the answers of B are feeling, the answers of C are physical, and D is will. So you can kind of maybe get a sense of where you're most comfortable. That's far from conclusive. And there are a lot more questions we could ask. But one of the best ways to find out, and I'm skipping around here, Jaya, if you don't mind, and one of the best ways to find out what tool your child is most comfortable in and experiences the greatest joy being in is just your observation. And it might not be when they're excited and screaming and laughing. It's just when they're totally involved and they're not thinking about getting approval from anyone. They're just enjoying the process, whatever it is. And and they may be good in a lot of things, but it's something that they just naturally go to. I'm reminded of a friend of mine a long time ago when she had her third child, and her two older boys were there, and it was a home birth. And of course, as is true of all births, there's a lot of screaming going on and some, discomfort, to really understate it. And one of the children, I could see that he was getting more and more worried and uncomfortable, and his face looked, and he was feeling his mother's pain and just really worried about her. Whereas the other boy was asking his father 50 questions. How's it going to get out? Well, when it comes out, is it going to be this or that? I mean, two totally different reactions, which told you a lot about the tool of maturity that they might lead with. But what's the goal of talking about all this, Jaya? Why do we?
Yeah, that's a great question. The goal is to, by identifying which ones our kids are or ourselves our strongest tools are, is to find a balance. We want to develop all of them. We don't want to be lopsided. We want to be whole. So trying to develop the ones that we're weakest in, and sometimes using the ones that we're stronger to develop the other ones.
Yes.
Like for me, simple example, I know exercise is good for me, but it's not what I naturally do. I know it. I have experience with my mind. I know it and I do it. So that's using the intellect to develop the body.
Oh, great. We'll talk about that more next time with kids too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So if you would like to get this quiz or the describing the tools that we just read to review it, you could write us at awakeandready@yahoo.com, and we'll be happy to send it to you. And as I mentioned, we're going to have one more in this series on the whole person, and we'll talk more about different things that adults can do to encourage or to reach all the children, depending on their favorite tool of maturity.
Well, thanks for joining today. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions about this or any other topics that you would like to hear from or about, write in the comments below. Subscribe if you like this, and goodbye. Remember to stay awake and ready for life challenges, joys, and lessons.
Bye-bye.